Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Yuba City Council Chambers. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council for May 19th, 2026. We would like to have our call to order, please. Yeah, that would be roll call.
Mayor Boomgarden.
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Pasquale.
Here.
Councilmember Cole.
Here.
Councilmember Kirchner. And Councilmember Shaw.
Here. Actually, I skipped the city attorney. I want to go ahead and tee that up for you, sir.
Thank you, City Attorney. As you may notice, Councilmember Cole is appearing remotely this evening. She is doing so under the Just Cause exception in the Brown Act because she is traveling on city business to conferences. She is also alone in the room, and if I could get you, Councilmember Cole, to confirm that is the case with a simple yes, we should be good to go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to have our invocation by Ron Fortenberry. He's the Yuba City Police Department chaplain. We'll have the pledge followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Vice Mayor Pasquale. Please rise.
Good evening. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for the many privileges that we enjoy, one of which is being placed in a great country called the United States of America. As we look toward the 250th anniversary, we know that there are those who would seek to divide and destroy us. Please protect our country. It's a great country, a country that welcomes all faiths, all colors and creeds. I pray you would help us to keep it that way. Father, locally, I thank you for our council members who faithfully and diligently serve with integrity and wisdom. Continue to keep them strong of mind. Help them to continue seeking what's best for our city. Bless our city, bless our first responders, all of them. Keep them safe. Thank you for allowing us to live in a great city, and I pray that you would continue to bless us. Bless this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next item up is our agenda modifications. Any modifications? Seeing none. Next two items are our ceremonial presentations. Yeah. Our first proclamation this evening is going to be for Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. I'd like to invite Alicia Stewart. She's the walk manager for the Walk to End Alzheimer's to come forward. And you can bring your team member if you'd like to. All right, we're here to recognize Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, and we will also be talking about an event that's coming up here shortly. Whereas Alzheimer's disease is a progressive degenerative brain disorder that impairs memory, thinking, and behavior, ultimately interfering with the ability to carry out even the simplest tasks. Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month is a global effort to raise awareness of Alzheimer's disease and encourage early detection so individuals and their families can access treatment, medications, fully participate in planning for the future, engage with agencies and organizations that support people living with dementia and their caregivers. Caregivers, family members, and healthcare professionals provide compassionate care and support to those living with Alzheimer's. Whereas Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, we encourage all residents to wear purple during the month of June and participate in events like the Longest Day and the Walk to End Alzheimer's to honor those affected. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mark Boomgarden, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, on behalf of the entire City Council and citizens we serve, do hereby proclaim the month of June Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. And I urge all residents to learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's disease, support individuals and their families impacted by dementia, participate in community awareness activities, and commit to maintaining brain health through lifelong learning, physical activity, and social engagement. It's a proclamation on behalf of the city and the council and the citizens that we serve. And I would invite you to speak a little bit about what's coming on here in the future and the Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. This is Alicia.
Thank you very much, Mayor. So Alzheimer's, the walk, we have had that since 2014, and our walk this year will be September 5th. So we hope that you will join us at the Plumas Fountain at Town Square. It is a free event, free for everyone. It provides resources and information about how you can care for. It also gives you an opportunity to acknowledge those that have been affected by the disease. This month, coming up in June, is our Brain Awareness Month. The acronym is ABAM, Alzheimer's Brain Awareness Month. Had to think about that B. It's been a long day. So, with that said, we will have a display in the mall, and we would love for you to join us in any business or home that you have decorating on behalf of Alzheimer's, wearing purple in solidarity with us to say that we are going to find a cure, and we will, because we're fighting hard for it. We're getting very close. And we would love to have you join us. I am so appreciative being raised here in Yuba City for the support of our community. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Alicia. We'll get a photo here. But just want to remind everybody, the walk is going to take place at our town center. It should be a beautiful setting down there. And from everything I've learned about the setup down there, there's going to be lots of booths and lots of interactive activities. So hope you'll join us. We will all be there. I know I'm volunteering. And if we can get the photo, that would be great. All right, next is our proclamation for National Public Works Week. I'd like to invite Josh Wolf, our Public Works Director, and our entire Public Works crew to come forward. You want me to keep holding?
Supervisor.
Boy, I got it. I think it's awesome. Wow, what a crew. These are the folks that take care of public works within our city. I'm going to let Josh tell you what that all encompasses here in a minute. But we're here tonight to recognize National Public Works Week. Whereas the City of Yuba City Public Works Department is proud to create and maintain the vital infrastructure of the city, including construction and maintenance of transportation facilities, water treatment and supply, wastewater treatment and collection. Services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of the public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government. 2026 American Public Works Association theme of Rooted in Service, Powered by Community recognizes the dedication of public works professionals' impact on both visible and behind-the-scenes projects that advance our quality of life by providing essential services that lead to healthier, happier, and more vibrant communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mark Boomgarden, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, on behalf of the entire council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through 23, 2026 as Public Works Week, and ask that citizens and civic organizations alike acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing public works services and recognize the contributions that the men and women of public works make in our daily lives. Josh, if you'd accept this on behalf of Public Works, and then I would invite you to speak about the very important and vital and most importantly essential work that happens out of Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. Yuba City is definitely an all-service city, so we have a water treatment plant, a wastewater treatment plant, hundreds of miles of sewer lines, hundreds of miles of water lines, hundreds of miles of roads, sidewalks, trees, you name it. And so what's hard to notice is the amount of work that goes into it, into maintaining, operating, and making sure that things are running smoothly, so the community has clean water, the waterways into the Feather River are clean, and we have safe areas to travel. And none of that could be done without all these staff here and everyone else that couldn't make it tonight. We have representation from our utilities divisions who maintain the sewer and water lines. They'll take calls in the middle of the night when a water line bursts. Same with sewer. We have street maintenance crew staff here, electrical crew that maintain all of our 2,000 plus street lights, 40 plus traffic signals, water treatment and wastewater treatment facility staff, administrative staff to make sure that everything's running smoothly paperwork-wise. Lots of regulations we have to follow as a city, so they do a huge lift. So I just wanted to say I appreciate all of you. You guys are truly the ones who are keeping things running, and I appreciate all of the work that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wow, this is a great crew standing up here. And when I start thinking about all the different things and all the different departments that the city does, and kind of being on the council now for 7.5 years, I kind of think of how I identify with you guys. There's a lot of us here just got kind of gray hair, and we can remember the 80s and remember a guy called MacGyver. This is the MacGyver department right here. You guys take everything that's dealt with us coming down from the state and everything else, and you guys make it work. You guys go above and beyond and never fail. And I just want to say thank you for your commitment, your ingenuity, and your willingness to serve the people of Yuba City, because it rocks.
Thank you, Mayor. I know what goes into, I was a contractor for 35 years. I know what goes into making something run and fix, and you do an excellent job with the resources that you have. All you ladies and gentlemen up here do keep us rolling, and I know it's a tough time, but you get the job done with a lot less that you possibly could use. And with that, just thank you so much for wanting to be part of the team, and I'm glad to be part of this team.
Thank you. I'll follow it up by saying, look, I know the hard work and the many, many hours and in all kinds of weather. I'm sure you were busy as heck out there during the wind, those of you that are dealing with that issue as well. But just appreciate all of you. And we don't often get a chance to do that, but here's a night and a week. But in reality, I think we all appreciate you 365, 24/7. And if you don't mind, we'd like to get a picture. Yeah. All right. Next item on our agenda is item number 3, which is public communication, the appearance of interested citizens. You are welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment is taken on action items appearing on the consent calendar or our business items on the agenda when those are called. Public comment on any other items within the scope of the city's jurisdiction, including items not listed on the agenda, will be considered at this time. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Members of the public submitting written requests at least 24 hours prior to the meeting will be allotted 5 minutes to comment per speaker. Repetitive comments may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group. I do have 2 speaker cards. We'll get started with those, and then we'll open it up to any other public comment. And I will politely remind everyone that if you're here to talk on the Prop 218 process, there'll be a later portion in this agenda where that can happen. So this is anything that's not on the agenda. First up is Tony Farley.
Tony Farley for North City, 28 Willow Creek Drive, North City. Thank you, Mayor, former Fire Chief Mayor, for his service. Thank you, David Shaw, the accountant, for his service. Thank you, Vice Mayor Mike Pasquale, for his service. Thank you, Tony Cole, for her service. There's the Tony City Councilwoman, I like that. Thank you, Honker guy, the Honker guy over there. Thank you, Honker guy over there, Honker. Thank you, Trent Lopez, for his service. Thank you, Sierra, for her service. Thank you, Police Chief and Fire Chief, Chief Hopper, and Chief Range for her service. And thank you, Fresno City Attorney, Shaw, for his service. Thank you, Robert Bendorf, the city manager, for his service. And thank you, the command staff of Yuba City government, for his service. I appreciate it. And thank you, Liz Bontes, for her service, the female GOP party member. I like that. And thank you for his service, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that. Next up is Liz Cervantes.
Can you see this, guys?
It's a big tire, man.
I brought a prop. Liz Cervantes, District 5. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I had an experience on Garden Highway that left me rather, well, deflated. Traveling southbound on a regular Tuesday evening, my vehicle hit a pothole and literally exploded. Did you know that if your vehicle is an all-wheel drive, you can't just replace one tire? You got to replace all 4. This is unfortunate due to the fact that it cost nearly $1,500, and I easily had 30,000 miles left on those tires. While at Les Schwab in Yuba City, I asked what percentage of tire damage was due to potholes and was told 85%. Business is booming. I believe having an all-wheel drive vehicle ultimately prevented an accident that could have been catastrophic. I know you are aware of the condition that plagues our roadways. We all have to drive in this town. You see and feel the same thing the public deals with. I will be filing a claim against the city for damages. My question is, how many claims have been paid out as opposed to fixing the problem? We are tired of this. Public safety is paramount, every single one of you campaigned on public safety, and you have failed. Where is the leadership? Where is the accountability? Tonight, you are asking another increase on the backs of hardworking taxpayers, or ratepayers in this case, but fail to provide the most basic of services. How can you ask for more when you can't manage what we have? We are not ATM machines. Where are our tax dollars being spent? Why are you resistant to privatization? No offense. I live with a road guy. Let him help you. This is a really serious situation. Yet you continue to tread on us. Aren't I clever? I believe this was meant to happen to me so I could make a thing of it. I like making things out of things. You know, be a voice for the voiceless. Going forward, what are we going to do about this? Patching is merely a Band-Aid and not meant as a long-term solution. We have got to do better. The time is now. Don't wait until someone gets hurt or worse. I appreciate your time. I already did all this.
Thank you, Liz. Any other public comment for an item that's not on the agenda this evening? Please step to the podium. Okay. Next item is our consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time that the council votes on the motion, unless members of the city council request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual action. Do we have any comments from the public on consent calendar items 4 through 14? All right. I would like to remove item number 9. Item number 9 is the Sutter Bike Path Gap Closure. It's a contract award. With no any more public comment, I turn it back to the council for potential action.
Move to approve consent calendar with the exception of 9.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Shaw, second by Vice Mayor Pasquale. All those in favor signify by saying, oh, we have to do roll call vote. So,
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pasquale,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
and Mayor Boomgarden.
aye. Item passes unanimously. We'll now go ahead and take up item number 9 from the consent calendar under business items. And I would invite, I believe it's going to be Josh, right? So item number 9 is the Sutter Bike Path Gap Closure. The reason I had pulled this is because I know there's been a tremendous amount of public interest in this particular item. I felt like it was worthwhile to let the public know a little bit more about the Sutter Bike Path Gap Closure Award.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, everyone. I'm here to talk about the Sutter Bike Path Gap Closure Project Award. Now, this project has been in the works for quite a while now. Basically, the existing Sutter Bike Path extends from Acacia Avenue in Sutter to Hooper Road in Yuba City and kind of dead ends here at Jefferson Avenue. Over the years, the city has acquired grants, a state grant from Caltrans Active Transportation Program for the design of this project, and for the construction of this project, we received federal grant funds for constructing the improvements. So the improvements are as follows. From where the existing bike path ends at Hooper Road to DRS Baines Park, we will be constructing an 8-foot wide bike path with paved or with shoulders, solar lighting, striping, and that's basically it. There will also be some entrances on Oro Grande, so pedestrians can get onto the path from here. Two connection points at DRS Baines Park. And then there 10-foot sidewalk that will be a shared use path will be constructed on Harder Parkway from Butte House Road to Jefferson Avenue. There's a gap here where development has occurred and the developer has paid for the sidewalk through this portion. though we are making ADA improvements at State Route 20. So the project was advertised between April 13th and May 7th. 10 bids were received. Through the bid, the lowest responsible and responsive bidder was McGuire and Hester. Their total bid amount came in, or their base bid amount came in at $1,515,405. Adding in the alternate bid schedule, 271 gives you a total of $1,783,000 and some change. So the project being federally funded, there are a lot of requirements that are to be followed by Caltrans in terms of audits. So, and we want to make sure the product is constructed to the specifications that Caltrans requires. So we will be we issued an RFP for the construction management and inspection consultant. 3 proposals were received. Out of the review of the proposals, Mark Thomas and Company was recommended by our staff. They have a proven track record of being successful in audits from Caltrans in the past. There's already been interest from Caltrans in doing a review of this project file. So we wanted to make sure that there are no findings and everything is smooth sailing and by the book. For the fiscal impact, the construction contract, as stated before, is that we're requesting is $1.7 million. 10% construction contingency is being requested. The construction management and inspection portion is $280,000, and city administration staff time is $36,000 for a total of $2.278 million. Out of the funding, we have the state transportation block grant program. That we'd mentioned before, the federal grant funding for construction came in at $1.984 million, and we will have some local Transportation Development Act funds covering the remainder of funding in the amount of $294,000. So with that, the recommendation for this project is to adopt a resolution awarding a construction contract to McGuire and Hester for their base bid plus their bid alternate with review and approval by the city attorney. Also finding that the CEQA that was previously assessed for the project is categorically exempt, adopted, and approval of the contract is within the scope of the previously approved project and no further environmental review is required. And then also awarding a professional service agreement to Mark Thomas and Company of Roseville for the construction management and inspection services in the amount of $280,125, subject to material terms, with the finding that it is in the best interest of the city. And lastly, authorizes the finance director to make the below budget adjustments in order to adequately fund the capital improvement project. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the council? All right, any comment from the public? Bring it back to the council. Mr. Wolf, thank you so much. A grant-funded project, one that we've been waiting for, and it's great that we're able to close this gap and also that sidewalk from Butte House Road to connect it to the previously improved. I would also like to say, at this time, I probably could wait, but I'm going to tell you that I was around Yuba City today. Your crew was doing the repair on Gray Avenue. Thank you very much. And with that, I'll entertain a motion from the council.
Read it. Through the mayor.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Propose to take action on Sutter Bike Path gap closure contract award recommendation. Adopt a resolution which takes the following actions. A, award the construction contract to McGuire and Hester of Sacramento, California, an amount their total bid of $1,783,741.50. Authorize the city manager to execute contract on behalf of the city, subject to review and approval as to its legal form by the city attorney, and authorize a project contingency of $178,375,000, 10%. B, find that CEQA was previously assessed for the project a categorical exemption, Class 4 CHH number 20160481118 was adopted. Approval of this contract is within the scope of the previously approved project. No further environmental review is required under CEQA. C, award a professional service agreement to Mark Thomas and Company Incorporated of Roseville, California, for construction management and inspection services in the amount of up to $280,125, subject to material terms, with the funding that is the best interest of the city. D, authorize the finance director to make the following budget adjustments. 1, increase in appropriations in 9-11266-65501 to $150,000, utilizing unallocated Transportation Development Act DDA funds. 2, decrease appropriations of 9412666-65501 to $1,984,000. C, increase appropriations to 9512666-65501 to $153,000.
I'll second it after you read all that.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Pasquale.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw.
Aye.
Councilmember Cole.
Aye.
And Mayor Boomgarden.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Business items. We're going to take up item number 15 now, which is the Utilities Proposition 218 public hearing and the ordinance update. This is what I think most of you are here for tonight. I'm curious, if you will indulge me, with just a few quick questions, just trying to figure out how effective or our outreach efforts were. And I'm wondering how many of you had an opportunity to attend a community meeting, if you would raise your hand on this issue. About a handful? Okay, thank you. How many either called or contacted someone from within the city to chat with them about what this was all about? Okay, great, about the same. Excellent. At this time, based upon that feedback, I'd like to go ahead and present or have Phil Marler, who's our Utilities Director. He's got a presentation on the proposed water and wastewater rate adjustments, at the conclusion of which, obviously, we will open up a public hearing where the public can speak.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you very much. So I'm here tonight to talk about the proposed water and wastewater rate adjustments. So a few key points to consider before we dive in. Water and wastewater utilities must be self-supporting, meaning that the utility systems are expected to generate enough revenue to cover their own costs. Development is expected to pay its own way. The proposed rates are based on cost of operating and maintaining the existing utility system and the infrastructure, while development impact fees are used to help fund infrastructure improvements related to growth and new development. Rate adjustments are largely driven by major capital improvement project costs. The process used for adoption of rates is governed by the California Proposition 218 law. And if adopted, the rates will remain lower than many like-sized and or larger cities comparison. So utilities infrastructure and operations, the Utilities Department provides essential services to over 20,000 water and 16,000 sewer connections. These systems operate 24/7 to protect public health and ensure regulatory compliance. Background on the rate studies. The last water and wastewater rate study was in 2016. Since then, inflation, energy costs, materials, and labor has significantly increased, and regulatory requirements continue to become more stringent. I want to share some examples of costs with you. For both the water and wastewater treatment plants, the total chlorine cost in 2019 was $196,000. In 2025, we paid $659,000. Liquid oxygen used solely by the wastewater treatment plant was $227,000 in 2019. In 2025, we paid $965,000. That's for liquid oxygen alone. And it's projected to be over $1 million for 2026. For PG&E in 2025, we paid an average monthly energy bill of $47,800 with a true-up of $136,700 for wastewater. And for water, a monthly bill of $42,500 and a true-up cost of $885,000. The water system overview. So like I said before, we serve over 20,000 connections, which includes 280 miles of distribution pipelines. We can treat up to 36 million gallons a day using the Feather River surface water and 2 groundwater wells. The system is operated by 25 full-time employees, and the system was originally built in 1969. Water revenue requirements. Operation and maintenance costs are projected to rise from $13.9 million to $16.5 million by fiscal year 2030. Our debt service increases from $3.5 million to $4.2 million, and we have approximately $8 million annually in capital improvements. Priority upgrades include treatment plant rehabilitation, pipeline enhancement, pumping station upgrades, tank rehabilitation, and SCADA upgrades. Reserve targets. We're required to have 90 days worth of operating reserve and 25% of a 5-year average of CIP reserves in case of emergencies. The need for water rate adjustment. Annual operating deficits are projected and reserves are being drawn down to maintain service levels. As infrastructure ages, periodic reinvestment is needed to help maintain long-term reliability, efficiency, and compliance with evolving regulatory standards. Operation and maintenance and debt service or debt payments are mandatory, and capital projects cannot be deferred indefinitely. So water revenue requirements, this pie chart breaks down the revenue, which is distributed by percentage. I just wanted to point out that 47% of the revenue received goes to capital improvements, debt services, and water purchases. The proposed rate schedule for water. This aligns with revenues with the cost of service findings. It would be effective November 1st for all fiscal years, and rates are effective January 1st. Also, 15 units are included in the base rate, and each unit is 748 gallons of water. So regional residential rates for 1-inch meter. So this is an example of the rate schedule for a typical single-family household. Every utility system is different, and costs depend on a variety of factors, including but not limited to infrastructure age, system size, regulatory requirements, and treatment needs. As you can see, the bar graph shows that even with increases, we remain comparable to surrounding agencies. I want to point out, so we're currently in the red and proposed is in the green. Wastewater system overview. Like I said before, we have 16,000 plus sewer connections, 176 miles of gravity mains, 17 lift stations, and 3.3 miles of force main. It's operated by 39 full-time employees, and the wastewater treatment facility is built in 1972. Wastewater revenue requirements. So operation and maintenance is projected to increase from $16.1 million to $19 million by fiscal year 2030. Debt service increases from $3.4 million to $6.9 million, and we have approximately $7.9 million annually in capital improvement projects. Priority projects include lift station rehabilitation, treatment upgrades, compliance improvements, pipeline rehabilitation, and equipment modernization. The reserve targets, like water, are required to have 90 days of operating reserve and 25% of the 5-year average of CIP for emergencies. The need for wastewater rate adjustment. Maintaining the status quo is projected to result in operating deficits in the coming years. In addition, debt service is expected to nearly double by fiscal year 2030, while continued investment is necessary to meet ongoing regulatory requirements and maintain reliable utility services. Wastewater revenue requirements. Like water, this pie chart breaks down where the revenue is distributed by a percentage. I also want to point out that 44% of the revenue goes to capital improvement, debt service, and biosolids disposal. The proposed rate schedule for wastewater. This is the recommended 5-year rate schedule. It'd be effective November 1st for all fiscal years, and the rates would be reflected in the January 1st bills, similar to water. Regional wastewater rates. This is an example of the rate schedule for a typical family household for sewer. Again, infrastructure and operational needs vary significantly by utility system. So similar to water, the bar graph shows that even with the increases, we remain comparable to surrounding cities and agencies. The Proposition 218 timeline. So staff introduced the rate studies March 3rd. Council adopted the final rate studies and initiated the 218 process on March 17th. The city staff mailed protest notices to customers on April 3rd. We held a community meeting on April 23rd. After I finish here, council will hold a public hearing and count protests, and if we do not reach a majority of protests, council may adopt rates. How to submit a protest. So to be counted, a written protest must indicate opposition to the proposed water rates, wastewater rates, or both, be dated and signed with an original signature, include the address or parcel number for the parcel, include the name of the person submitting the protest and whether that person is the owner or renter. So it's not too late. Protest must be received by the close of the public hearing, which we haven't had yet. So you can give it to our city clerk, Sierra Wakefield. I want to inform council of the public outreach that we performed. We sent out the protest notice, like I said. We held a community meeting on April 23rd. We also had a hotline for individuals to use to ask questions, and we also provided an email, which was posted on our website and on the protest notice. And then our website also contained all the rate studies so people can find the information, and we included that in Spanish and Punjabi as well. And then, of course, we have the public hearing today. The recommendation is staff would recommend to adopt a resolution. A, conduct a Proposition 218 protest hearing. B, tabulate the protests received for water and wastewater rates and adopt a resolution declaring the results. And C, if a majority of protests have not been received, take the following action. Introduce an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Yuba City amending Chapters 5 and Chapter 6 of the Title 6 of the Yuba City Municipal Code and waive the first reading. And with that, I'll answer any questions you may have.
All right, to the council, any questions for Mr. Marler? I would like to make a quick comment before we open up the public hearing, just because this is one of the things that I received several, if not numerous, inquiries about, which was the whole Prop 218 process. You know, why isn't this voted? Why is this a protest letter instead of a vote? This was, Proposition 218 was proposed by the Howard Jarvis tax people. And that's why this is different. It's water, sewer, and garbage rates are handled by Prop 218. That's why it's different than a revenue measure or something similar to that. So this is why we are with the process that we have. It wasn't a choice. This is the requirement for Prop 218 to be handled in this manner. So I have several comment cards, which I'm going to call in the order that they were received. I would like to just ask you to all please be polite, whether folks are pro or con. We'd rather not get into a bunch of applause or hooting and hollering. Keep it professional, but we also want to make sure everybody gets a chance to be heard. So with that, the first person that I have a card for is Katie Carpenter, and on deck is Leonard Martinez. Please state your name and your address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Carpenter. I live at 1943 Raj Court. I'm an attorney and a resident of Yuba City. I'm here tonight to express my strong opposition to the proposed water and wastewater rate increases. I understand that Yuba City faces legitimate infrastructure challenges. I also understand that maintaining safe and reliable water systems is a core responsibility of local government. However, the process surrounding these proposed increases has not been transparent, inclusive, or sufficiently responsive to the financial realities facing working families, seniors, tenants, and small businesses throughout our community. My concerns begin with the public outreach process itself. The city treated minimum legal compliance as sufficient public engagement. Yuba City residents deserve a chance to have their voices heard, which I understand we're doing here today. Information about the April 23rd, 2026 community meeting was difficult to locate outside of social media, not from official platforms, rather than through accessible official outreach channels. Simply mailing a notice that households may or may not receive is not good enough to ensure that the community was able to meaningfully participate in this process. Yuba City is a diverse community. According to census data, approximately 39.2% of residents speak a language other than English at home, yet the meeting materials and presentations were provided only in English. The low turnout at the community meeting should not be interpreted as either public support or indifference. It reflects a reality, which is that many residents either did not know about or could not meaningfully participate in the April 23rd, 26 community meeting. I also want to address the underlying issue of accountability. The city has acknowledged that much of the infrastructure is over 50 years old and that rates have not substantially changed since 2016. These problems did not appear overnight. These problems are the result of years of deferred maintenance, delayed investment, and policy decisions that failed to adequately plan for long-term infrastructure replacement. Current residents are now being asked to absorb the costs of those very failures, while households are already struggling with rising costs. 14.3% of city residents live below the poverty line here. For many residents, these proposed increases are not minor inconveniences. They represent another serious financial pressure in an already unstable economy. Water is not a luxury. Water is a basic human right. What happens to families forced to choose between paying for water, paying for rent, buying groceries, or keeping the lights on? For tenants whose leases require payment of water and sewer utilities, these increases will contribute directly to housing instability and displacement. For vulnerable households, losing access to water can trigger devastating financial consequences, including health crisis, financial emergencies, and family instability. These are not abstract concerns. These are real outcomes affecting our neighbors. I also ask that Council consider the broader economic conditions currently facing Yuba City.
I need you to wrap it up here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Most importantly, I'm asking that you remember that people most affected by these decisions are not numbers on a spreadsheet. They're city residents, your neighbors, your local workers, seniors on fixed incomes, young families trying to stay house, and the people who make the community function every day. Respectfully endorse the Sacramento Valley Workers Benefit Council's demand for you to reject this rate hike and seek funds from the state or federal government. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Through the mayor. Through the mayor, if I may, if I could just remind the public, we want to hear from everyone tonight, and clapping or booing or doing these other sorts of things inhibits the ability to have other people heard in a timely manner. So if you could hold your applause, we'd really appreciate that. The other thing that you noticed, there were 2 beeps. That means the time is up and the next person's time is getting ready and they should be on slate to come up. So to the extent that once the cards have been called, if you are getting ready to speak and would like to speak, don't wait in the seat until the person sits down. Have a second or third person lined up behind the podium, and it'll help make sure that everybody's voices can be heard more quickly. And then finally, if the beeping light goes off, a good way to wrap it up is to say what you can say in one breath. And that's a good rule of thumb, and if you could do that, we would really appreciate it because we really want to hear from all of you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. I want to make sure that that I opened up the public hearing. So let's go ahead and make sure that is done. Next up for a speaker is Leonard Martinez. Following Leonard is Amaya Schroeder. So, Leonard. Is it Leonora?
Sí. Mi nombre es Leonardo Martínez. Y pues primeramente buenas tardes a todos. Estamos reunidos aquí, ¿verdad? Para pues dialogar, ¿verdad? Pues mi nombre es, vuelvo a decir, mi nombre es Leonardo Martínez. Soy delegada del Consejo de Beneficios de Trabajadores de la Bahía de Sacramento. Y he vivido aquí por 27 años y he trabajado 17 años. Y en esta tarde venimos a rogar o exigir, ¿verdad?, que el Consejo Municipal no vote, ¿verdad?, para cualquier resolución que aumente las tarifas del agua en nuestra ciudad. Porque solo unos pocos deciden por todos sin escuchar la voz del pueblo y de la comunidad. El 80% de las personas a las que llegamos mediante llamadas telefónicas, encuestas en personas, pagan la factura del agua a través de su arrendador, por lo que no eran clientes registrados. El 90% las personas a las que hemos llegado que sí eran clientes registrados, recibieron el aviso, pero estaba en inglés y muchas personas principalmente hablan español, pero prácticamente todos coincidieron en algo. No podemos pagar esto. Un aumento de costo como este es devastador y un golpe para nuestro presupuesto, porque si tenemos que pagar más del agua, tenemos menos dinero para la renta y la comida. Entonces, ¿cómo sobrevivimos? El agua es vida y ustedes se está amenazando con cortarles el agua a personas como nosotros. Los trabajadores agrícolas solo en el año 2024 cosechamos más de 2.6 mil millones de dólares en productos agrícolas. enviados a todo el país y al mundo entero. Sin embargo, los trabajadores agrícolas de Yuba City ganan un promedio de solo $33,250 al año, o sea, $16 por hora. Necesitamos infraestructura, pero no a costo de nuestro sacrificio. ¿Por qué no exigen que el Estado pague? Si el Estado no puede costearlo, que obtenga los recursos del gobierno federal que está ocupando o gastando nuestros impuestos en guerras interminables. Finalmente, hago un llamado a la ciudad para que respalde la Agenda 2030 para los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible, adoptando por humanidad a los 193 miembros de las Naciones Unidas, incluyendo el Objetivo de Desarrollo Sostenible número 6, que busca organizar la cesión del agua limpia. Para todos un derecho humano, tarifas inaccesibles. Gracias.
No.
People, you're killing me.
Translation for her. Is that something that we can do? I wanted to do a translation. Am I allowed to do that?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So my name is Leonora Martinez. I'm a delegate of the Sacramento Valley Workers Benefit Council. I have lived here in this community for 27 years and worked as a farm worker for 17 years. We demand that the City Council vote no on any resolution that will raise water rates in our city. Why do only a few decide for all without the town's and people's voice? 80% of the people where we reach in our phone and in-person poll pay the bill to their landlords, so they were not customers on record. 90% of those that we reach who were customers on record, they received a notice, but it was in English and many of them mainly spoke Spanish. But just about everyone agree on one thing: we cannot afford this. A cost increase like this is debilitating and a shock for our budget, because if we were to pay more for water, we have less for rent and food. So how do we survive? Water is life, and you are threatening to shut down the water of people like us, the farm workers. In 2024 alone, we harvested over 2.6 billion in agricultural products sent to around the country and the entire world. Yet Yuba City farm workers only earn an average of $33,250 a year, or $16 an hour. We need infrastructure, but not off our backs. Why don't you demand the state to pay for it? If the state can't afford it, then you can take it to the feds, who are busy spending our tax dollars on forever wars. Finally, I'll call on the city to endorse the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, adopted unanimously by the 193 members of the United Nations, including Sustainable Development Goal number 6, ensuring access to clean water and sanitation for all as a human right and affordable rates. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Next up, I have Amaya Schroeder, followed by Leona Zablin. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amaya Schroeder. I am a Yuba College student. I've been a resident for 12 years here. I oppose this water rate hike. I volunteer as a benefit advocate with the Western Farm Workers Association, an all-volunteer organization of farm workers advocating to prevent a water shutoff for a low-income member. This member does house cleaning, and her husband works as a painter, but in the winter, they had little work. Their water bill, accumulated over several months, was $900, and it was due to be shut off in a week. Despite reducing their water usage to 1/5 of the previous years, their bill did not go down at all. It remained at $108 per month. This is because the majority of the cost from a monthly flat fee does not the actual usage. I went with this member to City Hall to help her arrange a payment plan, but the clerk just told me that the member should have just paid her bill. I did research and found that the Senate Bill 998, Section 116910A states that an urban and community water system shall not discontinue residential service for non-payment as long as the customer can prove they are low income. They will enter into a payment plan. And if discontinuation of the residential service will be life-threatening to or pose a serious serious threat to the health and safety of the resident of the premises where the residential service is provided. When I brought this information to the staff at the Yuba City Hall, they told us this member needed a doctor's note saying that it would be detrimental to the member's health if she were to lose access to the running water. The member's doctor did indeed attest in writing that not having water would pose a serious threat to the health of their patient. With the doctor's note in hand, we successfully averted this water shutoff in the middle of winter. I agree that the update on the infrastructure is pretty important and taxes should go for this, but taxing the poor, taking money they don't have is absolutely not the way to go about solving these problems. Get the money from the richest of corporations that do not pay their taxes and from the taxes that we've already paid. The government should be for the people, and you guys should be trying to protect us, not shoving our faces in the dirt and stripping us of our flimsy security. I endorse the Sacramento Valley Workers Benefit Council's demand for you to reject this rate hike and seek funds from the state or federal government. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Leonora, is it Zavalin?
Yes, it's
Thank you.
Zabellin.
Zabellin.
My name is Leona Zabellin. I'm a resident of Yuba City. We want improved infrastructure, and of course there are costs involved. But this is something my taxes and every Yuba City resident tax should cover. If you can't do that, then you should ask the state and federal governments to get your money, not take more money out of our pockets where many of us are already economically struggling. Many of the people that I've talked to living here are barely able to keep up with rent, bills, dental care, medical care, childcare, gas, groceries, and more. Then you have the audacity to raise the water prices while many of the residents are struggling to not end up homeless. People need water for basic functions, to cook food for themselves and their families, hydrate, clean themselves and their environment in their home, and for water waste. Many residents here already can barely afford a water bill, so rising the water price would pose a health hazard for many families here. It is irresponsible of the city to endanger the health of families in Yuba City. I endorse the Sacramento Valley Workers Benefit Council's demand for you to reject this rate hike and instead seek funds from the state or federal government. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on, I would ask one thing. If you're waiting on an important call, please, leave your phone on. But if you're not, if you could please put your phones on stun or silence, whatever, that would be helpful. Next up, Annabelle Pintado, followed by Swanajit Boyal.
Hello, everyone. My name is Annabelle Pintado. I'm a Yuba College student, and I oppose this water rate hike. I live with my grandmother, who lives off Social Security. This rate increase affects her greatly because she's a low-income homeowner in Yuba City. She supports me and my pregnant sister as the sole provider in the home. My grandma needs hip and knee surgery, and the mortgage just went up, and utilities are skyrocketing. On a monthly basis, we spend at least over $400 on groceries. If this rate hike were to pass, we could lose our home, and we're not alone. I know there are many families like ours in this position. This Yuba Council claims you went through the process adequately by accepting written protest, but it wasn't representative of all those who are not customers of record, but still pay for the water. I understand that we need clean water, and I understand that to do that, we need to have better infrastructure. But the cost shouldn't be on working people who are already dealing with an economic war just to put food on the table. I endorse the Sacramento Valley Workers Benefit Council demand for you to reject this rate and seek funds from the state or federal government. Thank you.
Thank you. Swarnjeet Boyal, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone here for their participation, voicing your concerns and how you feel about this rate study. I'd like to, as a member of Yuba City and a prominent advocate for all local residents, I'm a high school coach here. I also myself am a public works director, so I understand what the city goes through and why infrastructure is important, and I'd just like to educate at least community members a little bit. If the city doesn't go through this prop study, worst case scenarios that happen, which I don't see this happening, but would be state would be the ones that would take over this. This is something happening in Marysville where Cal Water, they currently pay $160 to $170. And, you know, that's why the city doesn't operate that system. So if you were looking for something like this that isn't passed, where is that going to get funded? All people are saying taxes. I know that the individual that came earlier was saying about the car tire. Well, I know we as members had the opportunity to vote for that 1% that could have increased our road improvements, but we decided to not pass that through. And it is an unfortunate situation, and now we have people that have these situations where car tires are affecting, could be harmless to them, harming them. The other thing I would like to say about this is the biggest advocate I would like to speak to the board on is there is a lot of members here, especially that get outlooked, which is those that are on, as someone mentioned, Social Security, those that are on a fixed income. The rates that have been presented are near 54% and 42%. I would consider that the board, if this is approved, look at opportunities, and there are, and the biggest ways is, I would say, is not only education, but other mechanisms. I know PG&E has rate studies for those with low income opportunities. I'm not sure how many people know here that you guys have a customer portal which allows them to see their water. Biggest use of water, where money gets spent most on, is actually irrigation, especially during the summertime. I think presenting options where you have low flow emitters or stuff for education, on education the public on how they can lower their fees will be very helpful in a way. Again, people on Social Security or those that have a fixed income, the government only increases them about 3 to 4%. So in a 5-year period, that's only about 15 to 20%. Well, these rates are presented 40 to 50. So I think those are the people that you can see, whether it's college students or those with those low income or under the poverty threshold, are here voicing their opinions. And I think for those reasons that they want their voices heard, and I think the city council can either do more additional outreach, education, or look at other funding mechanisms as an opportunity. And then one last I would like to say is for the public is, I know we're saying that we want government to help. Well, one of the minimum things the government asks is you have to have a minimum rate set. So if you don't meet that minimum threshold, they will not provide you a single dollar. So just wanted to make everyone aware of that. Thank you for all you guys do, and thank you for the public for voicing your opinion.
Thank you. All right, so that's all the speaker cards that I have, but that doesn't mean that if you want to say something, you can't go to the podium. So if you're wanting to come speak on this item, please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Through the mayor, if I could again suggest, if you do want to speak, just get in a line, 2 people deep behind the main speaker. That way we can make sure that everybody who wants to speak can be heard by everyone else as well. Thank you very much. So line up if you would.
Mayor, you should governmentize the water sewer. Governmentize it like Roseville did. Governmentize it. I'll support that. Governmentize like Roseville. That'd be good. Tony Fry for Northeast City, Tony Willow Creek Drive. I support governmentized services, public services. We need that. Governmentize it like Roseville and Sacramento does. Thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody else? Is a button on there?
Oh, button.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to advocate also for the workers group, as we did mention that there is millions of dollars that get made agriculturally. I would advocate for the council to maybe reach out to some of these larger community figures in the forms of agricultural companies that do benefit off of the workers that need this water resource. They also are largely responsible for the majority of the water that gets used and responsible for the majority of the revenue that gets created here. And so I think that that's something to lean on them for and potentially give them an ability to be more of a voice and not just a revenue stream in the community. That would mean that the agricultural industry that's benefiting from the human capital that exists in this community would have a voice and also be a public figure in the sense of they're helping in a larger form that also does benefit them in the form of taxes if they can do some type of giving back, if they can sponsor the rate increases, or maybe contribute more heavily in like the revenue taxes that they gain every year. I think that is a very untapped market that we are missing out on, and that is very important to this community as far as what we eat, what we produce, and where we are economically in California. I think with how large of an output that we have in revenue, we definitely have a seat at that table, and we definitely have a case to be made for some type of public service that they can either offer or some type of advocacy that we can attempt. And that would be my recommendation to the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, my name is Sarah Yamas. I have been in this community since 1979. My mother is a homeowner here. I don't personally have a water bill, but she is one who is also on a limited income and Social Security. And I have listened to everything everyone has to say, and I agree on both sides. I think that we really do need to fix our infrastructure on water, absolutely. And as a tax-paying citizen, I don't mind helping to pay for that at all. What I do mind is that I see that we've gotten grants in this city, and I see what we've spent it on, and I don't agree that we should have spent it there. So I know there's funds to be had, it just doesn't get allocated to where it should be. It feels like to me. One example is the sign on Plymouth Street. Beautiful sign. But it doesn't help our potholes, and it doesn't help our water infrastructure. In the amount that water will be raised for my mom, I did some quick math on my calculator while I was looking at the charts up there, and the increase seems to me like it should create millions in revenue. And the amount that's already being paid out should have already been helping with the system. So where has it been going? So going forward, I hope that we can all make better decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Caroline Satyadi. I live in Yuba City since 2003. I've heard both sides, and then from my business background, it appears to me there is some improvement need to be made, because I went to the public info meeting on April 23rd. My question was, why was it from 2016 and now you just put out a memo, a public hearing, and then the rate increase effective October and then effective in January 1st billing? And the answer was because nobody wants to raise the issue about money. Now, you know, running a city the same way running your own household, you have to plan. If you're gonna need a new refrigerator, you're gonna need a new something in the house, you plan it. You don't wait until it's finally break down and then you're scrambling to try to find money. And then here, in the case of the city, I don't know who managed. The mayor, the vice mayor, the council member. And so as a resident here, and I know everything costs money, I wanna see from my city good governance and good business management and planning. So folks that really living on the very edge of their income try to make ends meet, and for life, water is a human needs. If without water, you can't live, right? So we need somebody who manage it. Why is it you wait? And from my personal humble opinion, why wait for 10 years? When I was in my company, we have audit every year, and in 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, and we plan it so that people will not be suddenly faced with all these big expenses. It could be spread, and like the other lady said, if you have a grant, put it aside. If you know the infrastructure needed improvement. That's all my personal opinion would be. Maybe it's much more complex, but I just want to put the question over there for the mayor and the vice mayor. After all, you are the faces for this city and why you got elected. And I heard that you guys are changing seat every year or every 2 years. I think there should be an accountability. It should be an elected position from my position so that one person could manage it and put consulting money or whatever auditor properly so that it will be managed properly like a business, like a household. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, Mark. My name is Troy Winham. I live at 340 Twin Rivers Drive here in Yuba City. And may I use one of your presentations there, the one that shows the communities at Roseville, Sacramento, and the area? Can I use that for a minute? There. As you know, if you look at most of those cities, it's kind of like apples and oranges here. Most of those communities, especially Roseville and Sacramento, they're greatly overpopulated with people, more than Yuba City. And as far as the incomes, per capita, they have more of a higher income, I think, than our local community. And understanding those kind of levels, I think would understand what kind of income or would support this community. And I think that's the basis that we need to look at ourselves, is where the income of this city is before we address or ask for taxes or increases of any fees. So I would think our board member and our city would look at those things of our community and the people it serves. So I just wanted to point that out. I think we should look at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Final call? Okay. Before we close the public hearing, actually, we are going to close the public hearing if no one else has anything. I thought about maybe having council comments, but I believe I'll hold off on those.
Through the mayor, if we could give a final call for any written protests?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I have a little script here. Are there any additional written protests? If you would like to withdraw a written protest or submit a written protest to the clerk, this is Sierra. She can raise her hand. This is your last opportunity. Once the public hearing is closed, there will be no further opportunities.
So to be clear, this is your final chance if you want to either submit a written opposition or withdraw a written opposition. Anyone else? Final call. As soon as that gavel goes down, the time is up. If you have one, just come right on up and provide it to the clerk.
I'm sorry, it's not public comments for public comment. We're prohibited from getting into a question and answer period during the public comment period.
Okay, Mayor, that looks like everybody has presented theirs.
Hearing no further comments or written protests being submitted on the issue, I'm closing the public hearing, bringing the matter back to the council for questions or comments. So it's back to the council now.
Tony, would you like to speak first?
My voice is a little bit.
Hold on, I see there is a paper submitted to city clerk that cannot be
So-
accepted.
What's that?
I'm sorry, Councilwoman, there was a paper that was submitted to the city clerk after public hearing was closed. It cannot be legally accepted at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
The time is all yours, Councilwoman. Thank you.
Okay, well, I will keep this short and sweet. I do appreciate everybody's comments. It means a lot to me as a representative to have citizens participate in government. It's not easy. I would recommend that citizens come to the meetings more frequently. The budget is public. We have a lot of constraints put on us. And like Phil said earlier, there's just a massive increase in the city's cost. And so when people wonder where money goes or mention projects that were funded through state or federal grants, it's just, it really is misguided. None of us want to increase rates. We all 5 of us are, all about smaller government. So it is a tough position to be in. I don't love having to make the decision, but considering all the facts, and as a speaker mentioned earlier, I think she's right to suggest that we need to, or maybe we should have increased rates a little bit here and there over time so that it didn't come to this. A couple dollars a year is fairly reasonable considering inflation, but we are where we are, and the decision is necessary. Considering the budget restraints and the massive increase in cost. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
I thank you for all showing up. I wish more of you would have showed up when we did the outreaches and such. That's so important to participate in this. I'm a citizen just like the rest of you here, and believe it or not, I'm on a fixed income too. I'm on Social Security. These projects, the water and the wastewater treatment plants were being built when I was riding my bicycle around them. I've been here my whole life. We have kicked the can down. Before I even got here on this board, it was kicked down. There was some comments made that I think we need to clarify and make some clarity for some people. Grant money, when you apply for a grant, it is for a specific grant proposal. You cannot just take that grant money and say, oh, we got a new project over here. We've got this for roads, but we're going to go do it for something totally, a community center. Doesn't work that way. Grant money is grant money for what it is written for. I wish I could just take grant money. I wish they'd get rid of grant money altogether and start letting loose of the monies for our state. There's plenty of money in this state to run it right if you ran it right. My hands are constrained because of what goes on 45 miles to the south of us. I can't do things that they want us to do and mandate that we do, but don't fund it. We will pursue everything we can in the federal and state government. This is not an end all. I'm on the budget committee, have been for 3 years. This is a system that has gone on for several years now of making our budget work that we tirelessly, these people that work for your city, do on a day-to-day basis. This is not something that has just popped up out of the blue. Now, you're talking about things that we can't control. Do you remember when Orville Dam went to shit? And all that water come running down? There's a diffuser that we send our wastewater into our river back to the communities that are below us. It's a $60 million project that we had no idea that was going to pop up because the levee in the river washed away. There was no way that anybody could anticipate that our diffuser was going to not be allowed in our river any longer. That's $60 million. If you looked at that pie chart, the CIPs is what's driving this. It's not the cost of people. It's the cost of doing business. If we don't do that diffuser, then the state is going to come swooping down. And as this gentleman clearly put out, you don't want Cal Water running this. So hopefully you're gaining some information from this and not just sidewalk chatter, because that's what drives me insane. I know it must drive all of you insane when there's just sidewalk chatter and nobody has the facts in front of them. I see it day to day, the facts that are in front of us. I'm going to have to pay this just like the rest of you. Do I like it? No. I don't like it, but it's needed because you're right. We do need water. We do need wastewater. And it, unfortunately, because the way the 218 is written, it has to be spread out from all the users. All the users. We can't cherry pick it. We can't go out into the county and have growers say, oh, well, you have people that work for you in our city that used our water, so you need to divvy up money for it. I wish I could do that, but it's not available to us. Like I said, we are pursuing every avenue we can with the federal and the state government. I have been in front of our probably going to be new congressman at least 4 or 5 times now. The mayor has got a mission to be in front of him again to see what kind of federal monies can be done. We're strapped. You talked about the agricultural thing. 45 tons of peaches are not going to be processed in our community. What do you think that's going to do? Farmers are hurting too. I get it. We all are here. It's just the ungodly cost of what to do business in this state. And with that, I will yield.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Every time we go through these things, I'm always kind of amazed at what people think government actually does and what we actually do. How people come in and they think this suddenly happened overnight and we're just putting it on the backs of taxpayers. That we obviously, the perception haven't done our job as a city over time. And this is where the education part comes in. So, the lady that talked about her business and said, run it like a business, you got 3 business owners up here. The vice mayor talked about he's on a fixed income now, retired, he pays it once. I pay it twice. I pay it at my home and I pay it at my business. And I'll tell you, my business doesn't even hit the minimum use, but I still have to pay it. In a minute, Phil, can you go back to the water rate slide? Because I want to look at that one. This did not get here. And none of us were that sits on this council, a part of the 218 before when it was done prior to us coming to office, but we own this, okay? We're entrusted with the city right now. So what have we done over the past 7 years to try to keep rates down? Number one, we've slowly raised rates that we could over the past 7 years. Very reluctantly, held off even during COVID when we knew everyone was under a financial pinch, but we've used that. Things that we've done when we've had excess water rations from the state, and we're going to talk about the state. We've sold those to municipalities in Southern California so we didn't lose the water because we would have lost it, but we actually made money coming in to help keep the system flowing, the rates down, and do the things we needed to do. We've got the debt ratios that have to be maintained. We've been facing, bless you, we've had rising costs, just like everyone has. I listen at all the municipalities, and it's like, our households, every one of our households are affected. Gas is up, food is up, energy's up, and it's strange because you go across the country, and it's going to seem political, but I don't care. About 48 other states, most things are going down and recovering. We live in Taxifornia, and the nut jobs that are 45 to 50 miles south of us here dictate what goes on, and we are not getting the cuts that has been put forth out of Washington, D.C. and stuff because of the lunacy that comes out of Sacramento. And when we get that money you think is supposed to be coming back to our community, those baboons keep it. We get a little part of it. And then we're expected to provide all these services for our community. And I'll tell you right now, before myself and the mayor came onto the council, because we came on together, the council wasn't really part of the budget process, okay? For 7.5 years, we've been embedded from day one of the budget. We know it inside and out. We've done everything that we can. Do we want to raise rates? Honestly, not. I feel the pain just like you guys do. But if we don't, the reality is somewhere down the line, you're going to have a system. We're not there, but this is what happens if we don't maintain it. You're going to have a system that's going to resemble a little town in Flint called Flint, Michigan, where they've got big problems. Or when you hit that, the state comes in and they sell it off, and we've already had people approach us wanting us to get out of this business. So our alternative is to do nothing. And then look right there at Marysville. Look at Oroville. We're going to be at 5067, and we're talking about that little increase. If this goes privatized and Cal Water comes in, you're going to be in excess of $100 a month. It's going to double, basically. And we don't want that to happen. So we're doing everything that we can to minimize this as the best we can. Now, what a 218 process does is you've seen the proposed increases, but over the past 7 years, when they did the increase in Prop 218 in 2016, it sets what the maximum is that you can raise them during the time until you get to the next. And there was times over the past 7.5 years where our staff looked at us and said, hey, we need to raise rates because this is not working. We're going to be in trouble with our debt ratio. We can't fix the outfall diffuser. And we as a council said, hold it. And we did not raise rates. The outfall diffuser, we went and got a grant. But I'll tell you, the city doesn't have $60 million just laying around to go fix it. And if we don't fix the outfall diffuser, the crap quits, and that's what it is, quits flowing downhill and gets cleaned out and back into the river, because it would shut down our entire wastewater facility. We have those things we have to contend with. So it's a very delicate balance that we have to do. So when we look at this, we're looking through the 218 process, and they've done all their homework. They've done the analysis to keep our system intact, to provide the basic, and I want to use your words back just that you use, the basic necessities of life, which is water. To provide that in a safe environment, this is the dollar amount that it's going to take. And we all share that burden, whether we like it or not. Because I think the farmers probably know this, because the governor's been after your wells the past 5 or 6 years. Most of the people sitting in this room don't know that. The governor wants to go out and put meters on the wells of the ag people because the governor thinks it's his water. So you see the constraints we're looking at. We're not going into this blind. We're not going into this just wanting to throw it on the backs of people. We're threading a needle, and I feel for you. You know, I've got parents that I help support. I've got other family members that I help support. We've all got loved ones that this will affect. But we have done a damn good job of balancing this the last 7.5 years I've been up here. Because if we had not, 2 things would have happened. Either we'd have a broken system already, or your rates would be over $100 a month. So with that, I appreciate all the feedback. I feel the pain. But we have a community to protect. We have a community to try to take care of. We will continue looking for the grants to try to offset things. It doesn't mean these rates are locked in stone. It just tells us what our maximum is we could go to over the next several years. And I have nothing to do with what happened over the last 20 years. I wasn't here, neither of these guys, but unfortunately, we're the 5 that own it right now. And we're trying to make the best decisions we can. And the people that was up here earlier is back here, they do one hell of a job. I called you guys MacGyver. I know how you guys work and how you guys keep it together. If it wasn't for these men and women in public works that do the jobs that they do, it's hard to fathom how bad things could really be. So I want you to know we hear you. We don't want to do anything any more than you do. But at the same time, we've got to be physically responsible with what we do. And we're going to always continue pushing back on Sacramento because they are lunatics down there. I'm just calling it like it is. This will probably make Channel 3, Channel 10, Channel 13. That's Dave, D-A-V-E. No, I'm kidding. But it's the honest to God truth. They do things and force it upon us. And then we have to figure out what's our best course to try to keep it off your backs. So with that, I feel like we have done that. And this is just the next leg of where we're at. And we will always continue trying to protect our city because I do not want Sacramento in here any shape, form, or fashion. I hate the fact that they're in here already as much as they are. So with that, Mayor, I will yield it back to you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'll try to keep these kind of short because my colleagues have expressed facts and their thoughts, I think, very well. First and foremost, just to dispel a few things, not because I feel like somebody misspoke, but just because I'd like to get the record straight. And the Vice Mayor made a comment, and this is an opportunity for me to reach out to all of you and say, this idea that we get grants and we can funnel the money wherever we want to is just it's not factual. The grant for the sign was specific for the downtown. Grants that we get for roads, et cetera, are for specific roads. We've got a grant for George Washington. We've got a grant for Walton Avenue. We've got a grant for Garden Highway. These projects are all in the pipeline, and it's our best effort to bring your local paid tax dollars that you give to Sacramento and to the federal government back to our community. On the subject of grants, and both of my colleagues made mention of this rate study that if it is passed this evening, sets a ceiling. We have the opportunity, and we are aggressively, believe me, extremely aggressively right now pursuing federal and state grants to help for this diffuser project. We're in constant dialogue with the Congress and senators that represent us at the federal and the state level. If we are successful, and I certainly hope we are, and I really feel that we will be, then we can lower these proposed rates, and that would be our intent. We understand that what you're looking at up there is daunting. I've got friends, I've got family, I got myself, I've got people that elected me to represent them, that this all affects, and if for a moment you think we haven't taken that into consideration, we do. Going back to 2016, last rate study, these should occur about every 5 years. Anybody remember what happened in 2020 and 2021? COVID. This Councilmember Shaw and myself are sitting up here. Do you think that would have been the proper time to do a rate study and start talking about raising rates? We certainly didn't think so. Since then, we have incrementally raised rates. So the notion that we've not done anything and fiddled while Rome burned, it's not factual. And we can't raise rates anymore until we have this 218 process. I think that, when we start talking about taxes and rates, I want to make sure to clarify this. And taxes are taxes. As Mr. Marler mentioned before, water and sewer are enterprise funds. That probably doesn't mean much to those of some of you, but what that means is we are legally obligated to run those like a business, right? It's not for profit, it's for cost. It's not like we take it out of general sales tax and push it, and we can't do that. It goes specifically for water and sewer. That's it. So when we start talking about rates, this is what we're funding. We're funding our water and sewer system, and each one of the three of us, Councilmember Cole, Kirchner, and those who've been here before, always talk about providing essential services: roads, water, sewer, fire, and police. And that has been our priority, and this is one of those. Saying that, I certainly understand the burden, and I've heard loud and clear the burden tonight on the Western farm workers and those folks who support our ag economy and others who would be similarly impacted by a rate increase. I guarantee you this group here will take that into consideration when we're doing rates, which is why we are so diligent about going out and trying to make sure that we can squeeze every dollar that we can from outside of this community to support our water and sewer system so those rates can be lessened. It's never easy to sit up here and raise rates no matter what they are. It's just not something that feels good, but we're also running a business. PG&E, fertilizer, chemicals, you name it, everything, all of us are feeling the pain of that. And just because we're in local government doesn't mean we don't feel that as well as we run your city. It is there. It's not something that we can avoid. We don't get any special water or sewer rate. We don't get any breaks from the fertilizer companies. We don't get a break from the PG&E. We put solar systems in to try to offset that, and that certainly helps. Otherwise, we'd be talking about higher rates. So we are doing what we can do. I wish we could do more. I really do. But this was an option. I applaud staff for spending a tremendous amount of time, which is their obligation to do, and I just want to recognize that they did try to make sure that this was as less an impact going forward as it could be. And I'm committing to you tonight, and I know that I stand in unison here, we will continue diligently to look at trying to make sure these rates do not go, that we can get impact on these rates so that we can continue to try to lessen them in every way, shape, and form that we can. With that, I believe we're going to go ahead and take a recess so the city clerk can count the ballots. So I assume that'll take between 5 and 10 minutes. That's going to occur right now. So we're going to be in recess while the votes are counted for the Prop 218 process. And we will reconvene at the conclusion of that. All right, we'll call ourselves back to session here. And we have a presentation by Sarah Wakefield, who is our city clerk.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and residents. My name is Sarah Wakefield. I'm the city clerk of the city of Yuba City. Before I go into the results here, I'd just like to say that it's so nice to see people in the chambers. We often meet, and there's a very small audience. So it's nice to see you all participating and having your voices heard. So thank you for coming. As it relates to the Prop 218 process and the proceedings this evening, my role in this includes receiving all of the written protests, either by mail or in person, determining the validity of all protests, tabulating the written protests, and reporting the results to City Council, which I will do now. I have now tabulated the assessment ballots that were timely submitted, and to date, we have received 387 total protests. I find that the number of protests received is manifestly less than 1/2 of the parcels served by the city with respect to this fee. Therefore, there is no majority protest to the proposed updated assessment. My recommendation is to adopt a resolution declaring the results of the Proposition 218 protest count for the proposed increases in water and wastewater for fiscal years 26 through 27 and through 3031 inclusive. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions for Sierra from the council? Any public comment? Okay. If there's not, we'll bring it back to the council for action.
All right, through the mayor. I move that we introduce an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Yuba City, amending Chapter 5 wastewater collection and treatment and Chapter 6 water.
Councilmember, I'm so sorry. We're at the resolution portion first. That'd be item B, adopt a resolution declaring results.
Adopt a resolution? Okay. What the city attorney just said.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. A motion by Councilmember Shaw, a second by Vice Mayor Pasquale. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pasquale,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Mayor Boomgarden.
Aye. All right, the resolution passed. Is there a motion now to introduce the ordinance amending the municipal code? If so, please read the full title of the ordinance.
Through the mayor. Move to take item C of item 15. If majority protests have not been received, take the following action. Introduce an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Yuba City amending Chapter 5 wastewater collection and treatment and Chapter 6 water system of Title 6 of the Yuba City Municipal Code and waive the first reading.
Second.
Is this the date issue, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, and to clarify, I'm assuming your motions include, there's an errata. It's written in the paragraph 3, April 17th. That should have been the meeting of March 17th. And do both of your motions, the first and the second, include that change?
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you second?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion by Vice Mayor Pasquale, a second by Councilmember Shaw. Roll call, please.
So we have Vice Mayor Pasquale,
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Mayor Boomgarden.
Aye. All right. That concludes the business of the Utilities Proposition 218 public hearing. For those of you who stuck by here, again, as our city clerk mentioned, we do appreciate hearing from the public and always invite you to participate in our meetings and invite you to come every first and third Tuesday. Item number 16, future to the City Council. Are there any items that you would like to have on the agenda at a future meeting?
Through the mayor, really quickly, I just want to make sure I didn't misspeak. That should have been March 17th. I hope I didn't say May 17th. It should be March.
March.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
The outgoing president of Yuba College, if we could have a presentation for her and work with staff, that would be appreciated. She'd be leaving probably has to get in for the June 2nd meeting, I believe.
I believe we're still planning on the June 2nd meeting, correct?
Thank you.
She'll be here.
Okay. That'd be my only request.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Reports and communications. The following reports and communication items are provided for. Oh, Tony, did you have something for future agenda? I'm sorry.
I do not.
Okay. The following reports and communication items are provided for the council's information. No action can be taken on items under this section unless the council agrees to include it on a subsequent agenda. Mr. City Manager, time for your report.
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Cole.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Shaw.
Likewise, nothing to report, but thank you for covering my meeting, Vice Mayor.
Vice Mayor Pasquale.
Just a couple of things. I'd like to close the meeting in memory of two members of our community. Mr. James Underhill was a vice principal and educator, and his father was a mayor in the 60s of the city of Yuba City. And also Mr. Bert Ithburn, a local family that has got very solid roots in our community as well. And I just wanted to do a shout out for Saturday. The 1976 bus crash memorial will be taking place over just at the memorial over here. And if you would like to pay your respects, and it was always said that we would never forget, and they are doing that on Saturday, I believe at 11 o'clock. With that, I conclude my report.
Thank you. Following up on that, Councilmember Shaw, Vice Mayor Pasquale, and I will be traveling to Martinez on Thursday. They're having a ceremony there to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the tragedy that impacted Yuba City High School's choir. So we will be down there. We have a proclamation that we will be handing off. And then on Saturday, as the Vice Mayor said, there will be a ceremony here as well. And we certainly, like he said, invite you to participate. As far as other items, Police Officers Memorial, Chief, always excellent. Thank you for the opportunity for us to get out and acknowledge those officers who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. Other than that, I would like to add to Vice Mayor's closing in memory of Larry Munger. I should have done this at our last meeting. That was my mistake. He's a lifelong Sutter County resident, a supervisor, member of many committees, and leaves a lifelong legacy of service to his community. And also Joseph Benatar. He's a veteran, former councilman, former mayor of the city of Yuba City, and a county supervisor, another person who provided great leadership to the Yuba City and to Sutter County. With that, all of those will be greatly missed. Their legacies of service in this community will continue to inspire us to the work that all of us do each day. Our thoughts and prayers are with their families, and we will close in honor of them.